Welcome to the Richard Brunelle Performance Hall. Before the performance begins, please take a moment to locate your nearest emergency exit and silence your cell phones. This evening's performance is made possible in part through the generous support of the Davis community. Many of the exceptional programs and services in our school district, including the performing arts, are available because of funding from school parcel taxes. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for contributing to quality schools and supporting our students. Please enjoy the show.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Davis High. Are you excited to be here? All right, we are very excited to have you here for our performance of Moby Dick. Everybody, my name is Mr. Moreno, and I am the orchestra director of the 3 orchestras here at Davis High School, and of this phenomenal group behind you, the Davis Symphony High Orchestra, everybody. Now, we've been working very hard the last few months to prepare this show for you, and I want to let you know this is a world premiere performance. What does that mean? A world premiere performance means it's the first time an audience has ever heard this performance before. So give yourselves a round of applause for being the first audience to hear this. It's a big deal, yeah. Now, everybody, at Davis High, we have 3 beautiful orchestras. We have 3 fantastic bands and 3 awesome choirs. And you can be a part of that if you keep studying music all the way through junior high and elementary school and come to Davis High. We'd love to have you. In fact, our greatest mission for this performance is to inspire and motivate the next generation of musicians that are right in the audience today. Because you know what? Sadly enough, all these awesome musicians behind me, they're going to graduate. And they're going to leave me all alone here. And I need musicians to play music with. That's you guys. How many musicians are already in the audience? Raise your hand. You guys play instruments, you sing? Good, wow. So many hands. It's nice to know we're surrounded by musical friends here. Well, today, guys, what I want you to do is listen to this music, look into the symphony orchestra, and decide which instrument you think you'd like to play, which one you think sounds the best to your ear, which one you could imagine yourself holding and learning how to play. And guys, I'm wearing today my Davis High Strings Tutoring Program t-shirt. And that's a program where the students on stage that you see here, plus students from the other 3 orchestras that we have, teach younger kids in our community, just like you. 1 hour per week, they sit next to them and mentor them and teach them their instrument. And right now we have over 60 students that are your age learning from the high school students. And we have tons of great and fun music for you to learn. So if you are interested in learning a string instrument, let your parent know to contact me and we'll connect you with our DHS Strings Tutoring Program. We also have the DHS Band Tutoring Program. And many of the students that you're going to meet today are leaders in that program and teach students just like yourself all the different instruments of the band. So if you see an instrument on stage today, then you let us know if you want to learn that and we'll connect you with the right teacher, okay? Now, the great thing about a symphony orchestra, this group behind me, is it represents the entire instrumental program of our district. The symphony orchestra is the largest ensemble. It's a mixture of the string orchestra plus all the band and we put them together to form the massive symphony orchestra sound that you're going to hear today. Now, when you look into the symphony orchestra, at the front end, you will see all the strings. String players, can you wave your bows in the air? Look, you can see all the bows, all the sticks with the horse's hair tied to it, right? And if you look on your left, all violins hold up your instruments. The beautiful violins. And next to the violins, we have the violas. There they are. And then next to them, the cellos. You can see the instruments getting larger, right? And as they get larger, they get lower until you get to the biggest of all string instruments, the bass. Hold those up if you can get them over your head. Let's see. Oh, good. There it is. Good. You did it. And you'll notice the strings are getting longer, they're thicker, and we'll hear the difference between each. Let's hear the lowest sound on a bass. That's pretty low, right? Let's hear the lowest sound on a cello. Good. On a viola? On a violin? The highest sound on a violin? Oh, that's pretty high, right? I think the violin wins for the highest sound, right? But the bass definitely wins for the lowest sound. Guys, let's take a listen to each of these string instruments. Let's hear the violin. All right, let's hear it for the violin, everybody. Thank you. And let's take a listen to the viola next. What a beautiful sound in that viola, huh? All right, let's take a listen to the cello next. The cello, everybody. And if you listen very carefully, you can hear the baddest of all string instruments, the string bass, everyone. Now, in the middle of the symphony orchestra, we have all the woodwind instruments. Can you hold all those up? There we go. And in the front row, we have the flutes. Let's see what the flutes look like. There they are. And if you look very carefully, the tiny little flute in the middle, well, that's the baby flute. That's the piccolo. Let's take a listen. That was actually the highest flute in the entire section there. Let's hear it. All right, there it is, the piccolo, everyone. And let's take a listen to the flute next. Whoa, the flute, there he is. Beautiful flute playing there, huh? All right, let's take a look at what the oboe looks like. Let's hear that oboe. The oboe, everybody. And let's take a look at the clarinets and the bassoon. Hold those up real high. All the look how beautiful those instruments are, the clarinets and the bassoons. Let's hear the clarinet first. All right, the clarinet, there it was. And the lowest woodwind instrument, the bassoon. All right, thank you, bassoon. Now, in the back row, we have all the brass instruments. Hold up the brass instruments, see? Wow, look at those beautiful, shiny instruments. Let's see the trumpets. Hold those up. There are the trumpets, right in the middle. Let's take a listen to one of those trumpets. Thank you, trumpet. And let's take a look at the beautiful French horns. There they are. Look how beautiful. Let's listen to one of those French horns. Thank you, French horn. And on your right, let's take a look at the trombones and the euphonium and the largest brass instrument, the tuba. There he is. Okay, let's hear a trombone. The trombone, everybody. And let's listen to the euphonium. There it is, the euphonium. Thank you. And listen very carefully to the tuba. Here it is. The tuba, everybody. Now, on either side of the orchestra, we have the percussion. If you look over on your right, we have the largest drums in the symphony, the timpani drums. Let's hear those. Symphony. And over on your left, we have the auxiliary percussion. Let's hear the cymbals, guys. There it is, the cymbal. And next to the cymbal, we have the thunderous bass drum. Okay, there it is. Now, part of the percussion section of a symphony is the lovely and beautiful harp. And if you listen very carefully, and you can see our beautiful harp right in the middle of the cellos and the violas, listen very carefully to the harp, everybody. All right, thank you, Hart. Now, are you guys ready to hear the story of Moby Dick? Can I get a big loud ahoy? Please help me welcome to the stage alumni actor and Broadway superstar Cody Craven, everybody.
Call me Ishmael. I'm a sailor from the 19th century, and I'd like to tell you a story about a vengeful captain who was obsessed with catching a gigantic white whale called Moby Dick. Would you like to join me on this mysterious and dangerous journey? Ahoy! Fair winds and following seas. Where shall we begin? Just like many people back then, I wanted to get rich by hunting whales. So I traveled from Manhattan Island to New Bedford, New York, in order to find work aboard a whaling ship. I arrived in New Bedford late at night and found lodging at the Spouter Inn. There I befriended a harpooner named Queequeg, a big and muscular islander with a bald head, short ponytail, and tattoos. I bet you're trying to find a whaling ship, my friend, Queequeg said. We need to take a ferry to Nantucket tomorrow. There we'll find more available whaling ships. So, the next morning, we sailed to Nantucket. There were 3 whaling ships recruiting that day, and we were assigned to a ship called the Pequod. Now, the Pequod was over 100 feet long and had 3 tall masts. Now, we could tell it had endured years of sailing through rough seas because of its many repairs made from whale bones. Just as we were boarding the Pequod, an old beggar at the dock startled us. "You all will be doomed!" The beggar pointed at the Pequod as he tried to stop us from going aboard. Who was this crazy man? "Don't board this ship! Captain Ahab will only bring destruction!" The beggar continued with his frightened voice. "Wait, the captain of this ship?" I asked. "I'm sorry, we have to run, but what's your name? I was curious." "Elijah," the beggar said. Well, Queequeg and I were a bit baffled as we boarded the ship. The Pequod departed soon after we boarded, and we began to meet the crew. It was a colorful group of sailors from all over the world. Now, the 3 mates of the ship were Starbuck, Stubb, and Flask. Each of them commanded their own whaleboats with individual harpooners. The harpooners were my new friend Queequeg, Tashtego, Dagu, and Fidela. And then there was me, hired as a regular ship hand. But wait, we still haven't met the captain, Captain Ahab. Now, we were told he didn't like to leave his cabin often, but a few days into the voyage, one early morning, I finally saw Captain Ahab, a man with gray hair and a scar on his neck. One of his legs was replaced with an ivory peg. Now, it was rumored that his leg got chewed off by a gigantic, monstrous white whale called Moby Dick. And he wouldn't give up until he had caught the monster. Captain Ahab called everyone on deck and announced his reward for catching the whale.
Do y'all know Moby Dick, my boys? The largest white whale ever found, with a snow-white, wrinkled forehead, deformed jaw, punctured fluke, and several harpoons stuck to its skin. Whoever catches Moby Dick will be rewarded with an ounce of gold.
Everyone cheered except Starbuck. Well, I came here to hunt whales, not my commander's revenge, Starbuck said.
Well, Mr. Starbuck certainly sounds rebellious. Who would dare join him and stop me from hunting Moby Dick?
Ahab shouted to the crowd. There was dead silence. Now, in the next few days, we kept close watch for any sighting of Moby Dick as we hunted other whales. Now, whaling was indeed a cruel act. But back in the old days, all we cared about were the rich oils and perfumes that we could extract from those poor creatures. I mean, we were sitting on a mountain of gold. Yes, let's get back to our story. Now, one cloudy afternoon, one of the harpooners, Tashtego, sighted an unusually large white whale.
There it is! Quick, lower the boats!
Captain Ahab shouted. The crew frantically lowered the 4 whaling boats. The captain commanded as the 4 boats quickly surrounded the creature. The harpooners, Queequeg, Tagu, Tashtegu, and Fidela got into positions and were ready to take on Moby Dick. Went the 4 harpoons.
Pull, everyone, pull! It's getting away!
The captain shouted. However, their efforts were futile, and Moby Dick soon dove under and disappeared. But suddenly, there was a loud groan. Then a huge wave struck us. Moby Dick breached and slammed our ship from below, throwing the crew into the sea and capsizing the 4 whaling boats.
It got away!
Captain Ahab furiously screamed. "Captain, let's head back and forget this dumb brute," Starbuck said.
Oh, no, Mr. Starbuck. You don't understand. We're just getting started,
Ahab responded. Now the Pequod recovered its crew and boats as nightfall came. Strange bumping and spout sounds surrounded us as we repaired the ship. The monster was stalking us. One foggy morning, we encountered another whaling ship. Now, they reported that a large white creature was sighted nearby, but no ship would want to pursue because everyone was afraid of Moby Dick. Captain Ahab was excited. He was ready to resume the chase. This time, the 4 whaling boats surrounded the creature more carefully. "Captain, we can't see a thing in this fog," Stubb said.
Shh! Quiet. It can't see us either,
the captain whispered. Tentacles! That was no Moby Dick. We had found a giant squid. A giant, very unhappy squid. Oh, watch out for those creepy tentacles! Let's get out of here! Captain Ahab wouldn't give up. He ordered the crew to sail further south toward the equator. Meanwhile, my friend Queequeg became very sick and was dying. He asked the crew to build him a coffin so that his body might be sent home should he die. After the coffin was made, somehow, Queequeg began to improve, and a few days later, he had fully recovered. But the empty coffin gave us an idea. Let's keep it on the ship and use it as an extra lifeboat, just in case. We were near the equator and no signs of Moby Dick. But the weather was getting worse, and we were trapped in a big storm. Captain, the ship can't handle this anymore! Let's head back! Starbuck was arguing with the captain.
Begone, Starbuck, before I fire my musket!
Captain Ahab loaded his musket and pointed it at Starbuck. Aye, Captain, as you wish. Starbuck had no choice but to back off. The weather had finally cleared, but the Pequod had sustained some serious damage. We had encountered a few more whaling ships, but none of them had seen Moby Dick, except a ship called the Rachel. Turned out that the Rachel was also chasing Moby Dick, but one of their crew had gone missing when the boat capsized. Her captain was desperate and begged Ahab to help search for the missing crew. But Ahab refused and ordered us to continue our hunt instead. We searched for Moby Dick through the night until morning.
All hands on deck! All hands on deck!
I can sniff it. It's here, the captain yelled. Ahab had been waiting for this moment. But so had Moby Dick. was on. Captain Ahab and the harpooners wielded their lances as the whaling boat sped toward the white whale. Moby Dick emerged from the sea with its deformed jaw wide open. With one powerful crunch, it tore through the bows of Ahab's boat and almost swallowed the captain whole. Ahab fought the beast's jaws with his bare hands, while the harpooners tried to subdue it with their lances. But Moby Dick only got more violent and bit the boat in half. Moby Dick breached, launching its entire body into the air. Thud! It crushed the whaling boats completely. Splash! With one almighty slap, its fluke sent a huge wave towards Ahab, the mates, and the harpooners. Then thump! Its wrinkled forehead fatally rammed the Pequod. A gush of water rushed into the ship's hull. Nothing could stop the Pequod from sinking now. Queequeg! I screamed, searching for my friend as we went under. But the Pequod's tremendous sucking force was pulling everything and everyone into the abyss. The descent felt like an eternity until I spotted something. It was Queequeg's coffin. I used up my last breath and swam toward the coffin. At last, the coffin and I surfaced among the wreckage, and through the mist, I saw a ship and heard a distant voice. You there! Are you all right? Any other survivors? It was the Rachel, still searching for her lost crew, but all she found was me, the sole survivor of the Pequod. No one knows what happened to Moby Dick, but what we do know is Captain Ahab's obsession cost him his life. Until next time, fair winds and following seas.
Did you all have fun? Great. Well, if you enjoyed yourselves, give it up for our narrator, Cody Craven, everybody. Thank you, Cody. And everybody, we have a very special guest in the audience, our composer of Moby Dick, Andy Tan in the back. Turn around, there he is. Thank you, Andy. Beautiful music, Andy, thank you. And everybody, let's give it up and hear it for the Davis High School Symphony Orchestra. Now, if you enjoyed today's performance, everybody, we want to invite you back to Saturday's encore performance. It's open to the public, so you can bring all your brothers and sisters, all your cousins, all your neighbors, and bring your parents especially, guys. We want them to see the show, too. And the show starts on Saturday. It'll be the last performance this week at 11 a.m., and the doors will open at 10 a.m. And we have one last encore performance for you today. Enjoy the epilogue of Moby Dick. Teachers, thank you so much for bringing your students to us. We hope you've all enjoyed the show, and we'd like to invite you as you're passing through and heading out to come up and take a look at the instruments up close at the front of the stage. I'll invite all the principal leaders to come down now and show you their instruments. Come on down and enjoy looking at the instruments. Lights off, everybody. We're not
come in on stage until tomorrow morning. Call time tomorrow morning, it's 10:30 a.m., everybody. 10:30 a.m., straight up, no later. Piece is on in 15, maybe 10. It's right over there.